why did you think you needed help? Like, what were you struggling with?
Yeah, it was about 3 years ago, weren't it? And I've been coming, I've been going to the gym at that point. I don't know, maybe 12 or 18 months. I was trying to do 3 days a week, but I didn't have much consistency to it. I didn't really know what, if I'm very honest, I didn't have any structure. I didn't have any uh, knowledge of trying to achieve what I wanted to achieve. And I was enjoying it, don't get me wrong, but I wasn't seeing any progress. But what also happened during that time was it didn't really matter to me if I missed a week or two and didn't go at all, because in my mind there was nothing to hold me accountable other than myself. So I think when I first engaged with you, although I did enjoy it, it was also a little bit of a chore because I got 6 a.m. in the morning, so getting up early was a little bit of a chore. It wasn't something I did out of fun necessarily. It was something I did because I thought it was the right thing to do. And of course, over the last few years, that my thoughts on that has changed immensely.
Okay, so
I've been working with you.
you were going to the gym. You
Mm-hmm.
were enjoying going to the gym. Why were you
Yeah.
going to the gym? Like, what did you think? Okay, I need to go to the gym because I want to.
Yeah, sorry. I had a daughter on the way, but my boy was about 4 at the time, and I wanted to role model. I wanted to make sure, in my own mind, I wanted to try and be a role model of a good balance between exercise and eating habits, diet for my boy, and set the example that I want him to sort of grow up and see for his dad.
What's that example then? So, what did you think? This is what I need to be. Why? And what did you need to? What were the example that you wanted to achieve that you weren't living up to?
Well, I certainly I didn't have a great physical fitness to myself. Um, I'd play with him and I'd run up a flight or two of stairs and I'd be tired at top and stuff like that. And I didn't want those barriers at all with my children growing up. So for me, I wanted to be fitter, I wanted to be leaner, I wanted to be in a shape that demonstrates that I care about exercise, I care about food, and that is only achieved through discipline because I think that's important. And I wasn't personifying that before we started.
Hmm, okay. And then what do you think then? Because you got results, I'd say relatively quickly, like within 12
Yeah, oh
weeks,
why? Oh
you made
yeah,
a
yeah,
massive change, didn't you? So I
yeah,
think first
yeah.
of all, touching on that, what what massively helped you in that 12-week period that you didn't have?
Oh, well. First of all, we that was when we started working together, and more than anything for me, the structure and the accountability. Um, the structure of knowing what I'm doing, why I'm doing it, not only exercise wise, but food wise as well. Um, and the accountability. And I smile when I say this, but because I go at 6 a.m., if it got to 8 o'clock in the morning, you're like, oh, how come you weren't at gym today? And I knew that would come. And that kept me on track. And even though in the first sort of 3-4 weeks of us working together, that's when my daughter was born.
Yeah,
And
crazy.
yeah, and then how can I say this? You dragged me through that. You dragged me through that in the best way possible, and I wanted to be dragged through that. But there's no way I would have got through that without you at all. No chance.
Yeah,
Because
obviously, having kids myself, I know how hard it is. But then, obviously, at that time, I've just gone through that myself. Obviously, having a second daughter myself, and
yeah,
obviously still keeping on top of your training and your nutrition and everything else. But at the time, having two kids was obviously foreign to me. So I was
yeah.
like, "Fucking hell, this guy he is focused." Because honestly, I was well impressed. Because you know what I'm like. I'm not a drill sergeant. I'm not a
No, no, not at all.
I'm quite realistic, and if anything, I'm a little bit too laid back. Maybe I don't know, but I was like, fucking hell, this guy is absolutely crushing it. Like having a second kid, because obviously you know it's like having a young kid anyway. But then obviously having a second, it just that sleep, the organization, you mess to your routine.
Well, that became achievable because I had a structure that I enjoyed.
Yeah,
Okay, and I knew I was working towards something, and I
yeah,
had accountability if I didn't. And there were those two things coming together that were amazing, absolutely amazing.
yeah, definitely. And I think that's the. I think for a lot of people, it's the anytime anything comes hard or difficult, why probably people don't get the results they want is because they don't have an understanding of structure and non-negotiables,
Yeah,
and also a means of an end as well. Like it's just a means to an end. It's like I'm dieting and I'm exercising because I want to lose weight, which is obviously what people do. But I think it's having that understanding of no, this is it now. Like this is what you do forever. Milestones are one milestone you'll lose weight, one milestone you'll keep losing fat, one milestone you'll lose build muscle. Sorry, one milestone you'll improve your fitness, and it's just ever continuing, right?
yeah, absolutely, absolutely. I mean, I lost them. I lost that weight quickly, and it was great, and I felt so much better for it. Incredibly fitter, weirdly enough, stronger as well. Um, but at that point, for me at least, I don't think I knew I wasn't. I knew I wanted to continue this for longer. I wanted to see longer term changes in myself through a mindset perspective, which I think we've gone on to achieve quite well.
Do you think then, or would you agree, sorry, that transforming your body and your habits um, can be quick, but
Uh,
keeping them takes a hell of a lot longer time?
Without a doubt, without a doubt, because it's like okay, this is the best way I could describe it. It's like form is temporary and class is permanent. Well, I think the form is the quick change of the body can be done pretty quickly, a few months, but the whole mindset is more of a permanent life. It's a life change, isn't it? You know, going from I said to you earlier when I started to before I engaged with you, it was a bit of a chore going a little bit getting up, and now it's something I really look forward to the next day. It's like a bit of a highlight, you know. I just it's my morning routine is I get up, I brush my teeth, I do that, and then I go to the gym, and then I come home and I have my protein shake. You know, that's just who I am now.
What changed for you then? Why did it go from a chore to something that's obviously enjoyable and a highlight?
The structure made it a lot more enjoyable for me, without a doubt. And it, and also when you start to see returns and you see even past the short term returns, when you start to see the longer term returns and the fitness and the recognition for it, it it makes it makes you realize that this is ultimately going to benefit me for the rest of my life. Keeping up with this, I don't want to go back to how I was before.
Yeah, so obviously let's kind of explain that then. So in your own words, maybe numbers and other elements of your progression, what
Yeah,
is it
okay.
that you've achieved then? Just so we can kind
Well,
of give context on that.
yeah, so I think when we started, I was around about 92 kilos. Would quite happily. uh, I smile, but I'll say it. I'm a bit uncomfortable saying it, but I'd happily polish, a big bag of Doritos, chocolate hobnobs, and all that. Fridays here, boss them down, bottle of red, whatever. You know, I was sat at 92 kilos. I've been for a while. Um, and I think within 12 or 16 weeks, we took that down to 76. I lost 16 kilos quick. And those hobnobs stopped, the red wine stopped. The Doritos stopped, mainly stopped. Replaced by replaced by rice cakes. All right, but still summer. Um, and so yeah, we lost 15, 60 kilos really quickly before my holiday in June. It was really quick, and that's because I had the structure and the accountability, without a doubt, because it just wasn't happening before I started working with you.
Yeah. And I use those pictures all the time. Well, not all the time, but every now and again because you've took the same picture, didn't you, on holiday in that
Yeah,
pub?
yeah, 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 yeah. Same hotel that.
Yeah,
We're
that's
back.
right.
Yeah, 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 yeah. Same hotel that. Yeah.
So it's just crazy now how you can still live the
Oh
same
yeah.
elements of lifestyle, but it's just those decisions and structure, like you said, and just attacking your days in a different manner, but in trying to enjoy it as well. It's not like,
Oh, I
uh,
know was. Well, still am.
yeah.
you know. Yeah, yeah.
So let's talk about that then, actually, then. So I think, first of all, what do you feel? What do you feel the mindset or the focus needs to be able to do that in terms of make that shift with your lifestyle to be able to see quite, I won't say radical change, but actually, yeah, let's use that radical change to your body. Like, what do you think is needed from a guy to be able to achieve the same?
Consistency and commitment. You got to be bought in. You have to be bought in. And
Okay.
I was bought in. I was bought in, but ultimately, there's only you who's going to change you. You could take a horse to water, but and that, but you've got to be bought in. You've got to be honest with yourself as well. Like you got to. Even though I changed quickly, I had bad days, and it was okay. I had the odd bad day here and there, and I still logged my food, and I still saw that I was way over my calorie count because I'd had them Doritos instead of rice cakes or whatever. Do you know what I mean? I still had bad days, but then it was important that I was committed to what I was doing because when I logged them bad days, I was aware I had them bad days and I held myself accountable to them bad days to make sure I made up for it later on in the week and whatnot.
100%, mate. 100%. And when you talk about that, like bad days, I don't think there is such thing as bad days. It's awareness. Is it like you've just said there? It's more awareness going, well, this is what I'm dealing with right now, and it's just how do I just keep on moving forward?
Yeah, of course.
People use the analogy of if you've got a bust tire, you wouldn't then bust all four, would you? You just kind of quickly fix it, and then you'd be back on your way, right? And it's that
Yeah.
kind of same. And obviously, there's a lot more emotion to your health and your fitness than there is a car breaking down, but the analogy kind of works.
But whereas before, if I had a bad day, let's say if it happened on a Tuesday, I'd probably sat the gym off all week and just be like, oh, I'm just gonna have this as a binge week, just ride it off and undo 4 weeks worth of work like that, whilst I was training on my own. Working with you, that didn't happen. That you didn't allow me that to happen, but also you were there as support, and the structure didn't allow me that to happen either.
Yeah, 100%. So when you see like people talking about they don't have enough time or they don't have enough willpower or they can't get out of their rut, they don't know what to do in the gym, they don't know how to change their diet. What like what advice would you think would be super helpful? So, like to you, before you worked with me, if someone came up to you or you found something that gave you those kind of answers, what advice would you give to that person?
The time one, the time one for me, make time. Just make time for it. Go to bed a bit earlier, get up a bit earlier. I did that and got the gym session in before the kids were getting up. You make time if you prioritize something, you make time for it. So that's fairly clear on that one. In terms of motivation, well, life's what you make of it, isn't it? I mean, you either make a change or you don't. It's only you that's going to be affected. So if you're struggling for motivation now, maybe that's because you've had a few years where you haven't been making any change. So why don't you try to see what the other side of life's like once you commit to something? I think that I pondered whether to work with you for a few months. I think I told you this when I first rang you. Um, I pondered whether to work with you for a few months. Then my only regret after I engaged was that I should have engaged sooner with you because those months were almost wasted whilst I was thinking about it. Um, and that in itself just shows how he was able to motivate me moving forward.
What do you think you were waiting for? And I'm asking this because I hear it often from obviously people that I work with, but also people that I don't work with. And I
Mhm.
speak to them a year ago, and then a year later, they're still in the same position. So, what do you think that other people are waiting for? What are you waiting for within that period that then might actually nudge you along?
Transparently, thinking I could do it myself when I couldn't, and So I think working with yourself naturally comes at a cost, and I thought if I can do this myself, I can avoid that cost. But then it became very apparent a month or two in that it was the best money of the month I was spending, So that's why I really regret having not done it sooner. I put this barrier up thinking I was able to do this and manage it, being a dad and manage a full time job, and it just don't happen. It just doesn't happen. So the as soon as you accept that, and it took me a few months to accept that, it was the best money I was spending each month, and I don't say that lightly. Not, I don't say that lightly, but it was. It was so worth it. So worth it. That's the one thing is that I regret is I should have done it sooner.
But then, like you say, within a few months, it all turns around, right? So
Oh yeah, yeah. If you start to see end of the first month, you start to see the difference yourself, and then when someone says something to you, hey, hey, that is like I'm standing an inch taller sort of thing. That's it, yeah. And you talk about motivation. The first time you see that change, you're like, oh yeah, hey, I tell you what, that's your carrot on a stick right there. Actually, the first one's the scales. The second one is the noticeable change in the mirror. The third one is when someone says something to you. And I tell you what, before you know it, all of a sudden you're flying around with kids. You're running up 3 sets of stairs. You ain't tired. You're having a belt. You're just living your life and having a great time.
yeah, I love that. 100% love that. What do you off the back of that then? What do you if how do I word this? What would you say people need to focus on the most when they want to make a change? Maybe structurally, maybe emotionally, maybe within the mindset, psychologically. What do you think people need to, I don't know, top three things people need to focus on if they wanted to make a change?
Good question, that. I think they need to commit. I think they need to be consistent, and I think you need to be organised. Those are the 3 words I'd say.
So it
But the
all comes down to
organisation.
all comes down to a plan then, really, doesn't it? Like
Yeah. Oh yeah. 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 I was going to say that comes from working with you. Or it
so
did
all
for
because
me.
like what did you say then? You said consistency, you said organization, you said
Commitment.
commitment. So you need to commit to a plan. You need to be organized within that plan, and you need to be consistent with a plan, right? I think
Yeah.
that's the biggest thing in it. And I think that's what me people overlook. They either try to wing it and try to do some stuff, which will get you somewhere, but for a lot of people, it
So
won't get you nowhere near enough where you need to be. And also, from my perspective of doing this for a long time, you don't have anything to feed back off. Like if you just go for a few runs and eat healthy, there's no real strategy there. So it's then going, well, if you hit a wall or what it may be, it's like, well, what do I do now? Where I think, like you said there, if you've got a plan, then your adherence and then also adaptation.
that's
Um,
it.
and also making it work for you, because I think when a lot of people think of a plan, they might think, oh, it's so serious and it's so restrictive. Where for me, I think, well, actually, you might be better to answer this. What do you think a plan is?
Um, you mean from us working together? Yeah, we varied it actually quite a lot throughout. So just even just taking a section of it, like food goals. We varied that. We varied levels of calories intake. We varied levels of protein intake depending on where I was, because it can be shaped around you. And look, while working together, I still had holidays. You know, did I track everything whilst I was away? Probably not. All right. In fact, I had weeks off because you don't know what they're making when you're away on holiday, do you? But you could structure the rest of the month around that as part of your plan. You
Yeah,
go away 1 week in June, you structure the rest of June around it. And so in answer to your question, having a plan is having a commitment and a longer term goal and a way of helping you get there.
100%.
Uh,
And not just thinking about the short term.
exactly that. Yeah. Exactly.
Mate, amazing. And then obviously back off the back of that, then obviously you lost good 16 kg within, I think it was like 16 weeks.
Yeah.
Um, what's been the journey after that?
My fitness has got better and better. Lean body mass has got better. muscle mass, if that's the right term. And I've seen strength gains as well. And I haven't put weight on. I've never once been above 80. I got down to 76 my height. It's probably a bit too light that if for me. So sit around about 78 now, 79. I never went above 80, but I've seen strength gains, and that's a motivator as well. You know, when you set a new PB, that is a nice feeling. That you know, it is. So we've been working on strength and conditioning since then.
So
And the other one as well. Oh, I'll tell you the other one as well. I remember this. When before I started with you, I don't think I could do a full pull up. All right, I might have been able to do one. I'm not sure I could do a full pull up, and now I can do a muscle up, which is incredible. Really, I could never do that. I remember once. I remember once trying it. I was couldn't even get the one pull up, and now I can do a muscle ups. I do 3 or 4 actually now. So look at
flying,
that. You give me the technique for that. Yeah, yeah. Yeah.
oh,
Look at that.
flying,
So,
mate, flying.
yeah.
No, that's good, and I think that's the thing, isn't it? I think I talk about milestones a lot, and I think for a lot of guys, the biggest struggle is what's coming back in the mirror. What I speak to a lot of guys is the struggle is what's reflected in the mirror, not happy with how they look, which obviously affects how they feel. And obviously not exercising, not watching the nutrition affects how you feel, right? It knocks your confidence, knocks your energy levels. So I think that's the driving force initially. But I think what a lot of people need to understand is, like we've mentioned previously, is the milestones change along the journey, and you
Oh
have
yeah.
to, like you've said there, you've got to jump, I think, both feet into that process to understand that this is it now. And I think that's why again, on reflection, a lot of people are all or nothing because it's always a means to an end. It's just, I just want to lose a bit of weight and I'm willing to do some stuff for a short period of time to do it. But if you want to keep it off, like you have, like you've lost 16 kg and 3 years later, you've kept it off because it's just a part of who you are now, right? And
Yeah,
but
absolutely.
then obviously in the journey, like you said, different calorie goals, different elements of your focus within your training. It's all just kind of moving the goalposts, isn't it, to
Of
keep
course it
you
is.
moving forward, right?
Of course it is. Yeah, and you can have fun with it as well. Like that whole muscle sort of building up to that. There was a structure in place to get there. I didn't even know what the technique was when I when we first talked about it. You know. And you can have fun with it. That's like a goal that in itself is developing my strength and conditioning, but also learning new stuff. It's great. It's great.
Would you say that people need to master the basics first
Right. Oh yeah, yeah, yeah,
to
yeah,
then
yeah.
be able to then build that solid foundation to have that element of now it's a part of my lifestyle, now it's a part of I can just have fun and I can have things in place, still having that element of structure.
Oh yeah. I mean, don't get me wrong. We didn't look at that till what 18 months, 2 years or something. Because you don't run before you can walk with it. But yeah, I think the first is have that open mind. Let me add something else as well. You know, you said something just then about looking in the mirror and wanting to see change. Admitting to that can be scary because you're then stepping into an element of change, an element of unknown, and almost like an admission of that something has to change, and you have to put your trust into someone to get you there, yourself as well, but you trust into someone to get you there, and that can be scary, but when you're actually taking that first step and the second step and the third step, it really ain't as scary as you can make it out to be in your own head. Any journey starts with the one step in front of the other, doesn't it? And actually, you know what? It's more fun. It's not scary. It's actually a fun journey to go on. So I'd encourage anyone who's umming and ahhing about doing it, just start it sooner rather than later. You won't regret that.
Mate, absolutely love that. And yeah, you're right. It is kind of scary for change, and it's that level of awareness in it, and accepting where you are, and not getting yourself
Yeah.
overwhelmed. And maybe there's that element of belief as well. Like you've got to believe that you can either do it, or like you've said there, have an element of belief that you can do it, but then quickly be aware of actually I need some help, and then obviously that belief factor in going, well, I'm going to now put my trust into someone else. and having that belief, right? And there's kind of
Absolutely.
those hurdles emotionally to jump over, right?
Absolutely. Yeah. Absolutely. Yeah.
What would you say now, finishing off then? What would you say that my coaching's been like, my support, and my mission as well, if you could describe that, if from what your perspective looks like.
Um, is it for you? Not as in for me. For you, what your support? Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Um, I think because you. How can I put this? I think because you, and we've talked about this before. You've gone on a journey like yourself previously. You've got the empathy and the understanding and knowledge of what that individual's going through. You've never been a. I hope you don't mind me saying this. You've never been a drill sergeant with me at all. That's not your approach, or certainly hasn't been with me. Um, you've come at it from a knowledge sharing and informative approach, which motivated me understanding why I was doing what I was doing and how it was helping me achieve what I wanted to achieve. That's the approach you took with me, and that really helped. And I like to think along that journey, we've gone from one place to friendship as well, because it's been something we've worked on over time and something I certainly have really valued. But that support, that accountability, that structure, that knowledge that you've really shared has changed my life. It has.
Oh, mate, I appreciate that, dude. I appreciate that. And then obviously from your perspective of working with me for a while now, what um what would you say is my kind of mission with what I'm trying to do here, and what do you think I'm good at helping, well, whoever it is that I'm trying to help with? Could you formulate that into like a sentence?
I think your mission is to support working. I might be wrong here. I think working fathers transform their body to be better, fitter, stronger for their families, whilst offering unparalleled support from a knowledge and structural and accountability perspective.
Perfect. Yeah, I'd definitely agree with that, mate. I think that's great to leave on that. I think anyone can transform. I think anyone's got the power to do it. I think everyone um, can to some degree. I think it's just having a level of belief in yourself, level of confidence in yourself that you might not even know. I think one of my jobs is actually getting that belief out of people and instilling that confidence in them to know, no, mate, you can do this. And I know you've got issues, and you've got problems that you need to kind of work around, but that's what I'm here to do. I'm here to help solve them problems and be that ear, they'd be that
Absolutely.
shoulder to lean on, and to be able to show you that there's always an answer. It's just, I think for a lot of guys, being able to ask good questions, like you're really good at. That's one thing I give to you, mate, is just asking good questions, because you want to build your knowledge and
Oh
understanding.
yeah,
Because that, I think knowledge and understanding is great when you take action on it, which you do. So I think that's what a lot of guys maybe kind of miss a little bit, is building the knowledge, but being able to take that and going, okay, this is why I'm doing it, and then taking the action on it. And that's what obviously I'm there to kind of facilitate, because I think,
mm-hmm.
like, say, you can live unhealthy and overweight and not be any less of a father than I am, but you could also be a lot fucking better as well, can't you?
Absolutely, yeah.
I'm not saying that a good dad is a fit dad, but you could be the same great dad that you are right now, but even better, because now you're looking after yourself. And I've never worked with someone who's got into great shape whose life has got worse.
No, I could believe that. I could believe that. And also a lot of it's life skills as well. Like you talk about organization. Well, that for me anyway falls into my work. It does. Having structure and that is important in my line of work. So being able to be more organized and also like the up here the mental gains from the exercise and yeah, it, it's incredible the difference it makes.
100%, mate. When I know what I'm like now, I train first thing in the morning and I feel so much better for it. I was having this conversation the other day with someone about um I've trained for a long time now. So I don't know if I still understand that transition from what a lot of people do struggle with, like that exercise high, where people don't exercise for a long time, then they start exercising and then they start noticing how productive they are, how energetic they
Yeah.
are, how more confident they feel. Like you said, how more organized and disciplined they are. Um, and I don't know if that's just I'm taking that for granted a little bit because I just live that every day now, and I've not seen that because I've exercised for so long. I was thinking the other day, I wonder what my life would be like if I didn't exercise. Because with two young kids, with obviously trying to build a business, how different my mental health might be if I didn't have these things in
Yeah.
place.
Yeah. Yeah. I get that. Yeah, I get that.
So, mate, really appreciate you jumping on here. Is there any last words you want to leave the people that are watching this?
But well, thank you first and foremost, up to to you, and as I've said earlier, if you've been in an hour and just crack on, don't waste time. It's the best money you spend every month, without a doubt, without a doubt.
Amazing, mate. I'll just leave that there.